Welcome to Divine Couples. Your host, Naomi Slater, will awaken your passion, deepen your intimacy, and invite healing into your relationships, working towards accessing higher levels of consciousness in all areas of your life. Come with us on this journey to explore and experience your fullest potential.
You are listening to Society Bites Radio, social interaction for the mind and soul. Thanks for joining us. I am your host, Naomi Slater, and you have tuned in to Divine Couples, adding intimacy, passion, and healing to your lives. So today the session that we're doing is called Yoni Consciousness, and it's going to be a guided session. Its purpose is to help women communicate deeply with their yoni or vagina. And yoni is the Sanskrit term for vulva, meaning the vagina in its entirety, including the clitoris, the G-spot, the cervix, the ovaries, and the womb. Our yoni has its own voice, its own expression, and its own ideas. Actually, it has a consciousness that's separate from our mind consciousness. And if we allow ourselves to deeply listen, our yoni actually has the ability to tell us things. I know it sounds absurd, but it's the truth. She has the ability to help us understand her and can tell us what to do to create a deeper connection with her. Our yoni has lips, as you may already know, and she can speak, and she has a lot to say. Our yoni consciousness affects our mental and our physical health, and also our ability to connect with our higher purpose. So if our yoni is holding on to a lot of trauma or is being suppressed by limiting beliefs like guilt and shame, it will be very difficult for us to live vibrant and fulfilling lives. Our yoni affects us profoundly. And if she is ignored, we will feel the effects, whether we are aware of these effects or not. Our yoni needs our attention, our love and affection, and she needs for us to listen to her. If she doesn't receive our attention, she will feel unheard and ignored. The energy won't flow. We will feel blocked, both sexually and in our lives in general. So this practice helps us to connect on a much deeper level with our yoni. And through this practice, we create space and allow for her to speak to us. We create space for her consciousness without judging and overthinking. We are going to allow for whatever emotion wants to surface to bubble up. Most of us have been taught to suppress our emotions, and here I want to encourage you to create space for your emotions and for her emotions. So really this is just about you agreeing to get out of the way. What does that mean? It means that when the emotion surfaces through this practice, whether it be sadness, anger, or laughter, you allow for that emotion to come through fully and without holding back. It is also therefore important that you create physical space for this practice. So if you have a partner or children, it is best to do this practice when they are not at home. You want to create a space where no one can hear you. So of course you want to close the door. You want to make sure that you don't have any open electronics in the room. So really create a sacred space, a space where you will feel safe to express whatever wants to be expressed. In this practice, you will be asking your yoni questions, and you're going to be asking them out loud, and she will answer you in first person in your own voice. I will explain more in a minute. The first time you do this practice, you may not receive any answers to your questions, and that is okay. For some women, it can take a long time before receiving answers. You just need to be persistent and continue to do the practice. Eventually, your yoni will answer. You will learn to create space for her consciousness. So in this session, I will provide a general basis for doing this practice. However, it's important to note that when I guide women through this practice one-to-one, I am able to tap into what is arising from the Yoni consciousness and help women connect and release trapped emotions as they are going through the process. Nonetheless, this will help women understand the practice and experiment with it, even though I cannot respond to whatever is coming up. So to start, it's important to create an environment that's conducive to the practice, as I mentioned. So of course, having a safe space, but also lighting some candles. You can use a diffuser with essential oils to create a pleasant smell. In this particular situation, I don't recommend turning on music because it's better to create space and silence for your yoni to express herself. What you do want to have handy is a handheld mirror and also some pure coconut oil ready for the practice. Okay, so there are many different ways to start this practice or prepare for it, but here we will start simply by lying down and connecting to our breath. So first you want to get comfortable. It's nice to do this practice on your bed, have some pillows around you. And of course, you need to undress yourself. That's the first stage. And lie down on your bed. And first, we're just going to connect with our breath. So you're going to take a deep inhalation, expanding your abdomen and your chest. And then take a long exhalation, dispelling any negative energy or any stale air that needs to come out of your body. Deep inhalation, expanding your abdomen and your chest. And long exhalation, dispelling anything that needs to be removed from your system, from your physical body, from your energetic body. Deep inhalation and long exhalation. Now continue with a few more deep breaths at your own pace. Try to really maintain your focus on your breath. If it helps, you can count. So inhale for 5 seconds, exhale for 10 seconds. So you want your exhalation to be twice as long as your inhalation. You can also bring your one hand on your chest, and your other hand you can rest on your yoni, on your vagina, in order to begin deepening the connection between your heart space and your sexual center, your yoni. So this is very, very important to deepen. For many women, there might be a disconnect between their sex center and their heart, and we want to facilitate a deeper connection between these two centers. Very good. A few more deep breaths. And now what I would like for you to do is grab your handheld mirror and hold it up in front of your yoni. And this may be a first for many women. They're not used to looking at themselves, looking at their yoni, at their sex center. This might feel awkward, and if it does, that's okay. Just focus on your breath. Deep inhalations, long exhalations. And I want you to admire your yoni. She's capable of so many things. She's capable of creating life. She is the seat of your life force energy, of your creativity. So admire her. Look at how beautiful she is. And you can gently caress her as you are admiring her. Very gentle. Not trying to overly stimulate her. It's really just showing her that you love her and that you appreciate her and that you admire her. And it's just deepening this connection with your yoni. And now what we're going to do as part of the practice is you're going to ask out loud if there are any unexpressed emotions that she would like to express. So the way that you would ask is you would say out loud, are there any unexpressed emotions that you would like to express? And once you have said that out loud, you just connect, you stay present, and you see if something starts to come up. So it's not about thinking, okay? It's not about rationalizing now. It's about getting out of the way and kind of shutting off your rational mind and allowing for whatever wants to come up to surface. And when something comes up, you want to vocalize that in her voice. So for example, she could say back to you, I don't feel heard. I feel ignored. She could say, I want to deepen the connection with you. I want you to pay more attention to me. So these are some of the things that she might say to you. Of course, she might say lots of other things, which are very different from what I've just said. But it's you being able to vocalize whatever is coming through as if it's your yoni's voice. Okay? So she can say, I feel this, I feel that. It's very important to maintain your breath. So as you're doing this, if you feel stuck, if you feel that nothing is coming up, bring your attention back to your breath. Deep inhalations and long exhalations. Deep inhalations and long exhalations. So if something came up like, I feel ignored or I feel a disconnect from you, of course your yoni is answering, speaking to you through your voice, you can then follow up with a question. You can ask her, how can I help you feel loved or cared for? And see what she answers. You might be surprised. She has a tremendous amount of knowledge and wisdom, which if you are willing to get out of the way, she will impart upon you her wisdom and her knowledge, which will help you on so many different levels in your life. So really ask her with a tremendous amount of intention, how can I help you feel loved or cared for? And see what comes up. And whatever she says, you vocalize. So you can pleasure me. You can make sure that when you make love, you're making love when you're ready, when I'm ready, with the right person. Just some examples. Deep inhalation and long exhalation. You can ask her, how can I create a deeper connection with you? What will facilitate that connection? How do I create that connection? What do you need from me to feel awake, to feel pleasure, to feel fulfilled? So you're asking her, how can I help you? How can I create a deeper connection with you? And see what comes up. You have to be open to allowing her to speak through you. It's not about rationalizing or thinking. It's just about allowing this energy to flow through you. And if a very strong emotion comes up, it's not suppressing that emotion. So if you feel like screaming, scream. If you feel like crying, cry. If you feel like laughing, laugh. Don't hold back. If you feel like expressing anger, or if there's any deep, deep sorrow or trauma that needs to be revealed through this practice, allow for it to come up. Just be present. You can ask her, what do you like? How do you like to be pleasured? Have her give you specifics. She knows. She knows what she likes. So I like to be touched in this way. I like to be touched in that way. And of course, you can ask her, what do you dislike? What things do you not enjoy? What things don't bring you pleasure? So that could be having sexual intercourse when I'm not ready, when I'm not turned on, when I'm not open. That causes me pain. I don't like how that feels. That creates for me more trauma. It closes me off. And as you begin to conclude this practice, you can also ask your yoni, what is her name? Or how does she want you to call her? And for some women, this might feel a bit strange. And again, it's not about thinking, it's really just about seeing what comes up. And it might be a word, it might even be an image. Okay, there are many different ways that she could connect to you. It might be a color. So it's learning how to deeply listen. And once we learn how to deeply listen, we become much more aware of these more subtle energies that are flowing through our body. And when we become more aware of these subtle energies, we naturally become more orgasmic. We're more in touch with what's happening in our energetic body, in our emotional body, in our pleasure body. So, of course, part of this is allowing emotion to flow through. We are so blocked by unexpressed emotions. And when we give them their space, when we allow them to become expressed through us, when we allow these emotions to flow through us, we are able to tap into this unlimited realm of feeling, of experiencing things on a much, much deeper level. So things that perhaps before may not have felt orgasmic to you may start to reveal themselves as orgasmic experiences. And this practice can really, really help bring out some of this emotion that is trapped so that you can begin to experience more orgasmic experiences. So for some women, this practice may be a nice conversation, helping them to understand their yoni on a deeper level. For others, there can be a very, very profound emotional release. So again, whatever comes up, it's important to release all judgment and just allow for it to be. You just want to be a witness to this process, nothing more. Just be a witness. It's about accepting whatever wants to come up and flow through you without any judgment. So let's just take a few more deep breaths. In order to complete the practice, you take a deep inhalation and a long exhalation. Deep inhalation and a long exhalation. Deep inhalation, long exhalation. I want you to now visualize a white light that is growing in your sex center and clearing out any stale energy, any emotion that needs to be released from that area. And just visualize this light expanding and healing every single cell in your sex center, in your womb, your ovaries, your cervix, your vagina, your clitoris, your G-spot. Really see this light spreading and creating this clean, pure brightness in that area. Allow this white light to travel up into your heart space, expanding your heart space, creating love and compassion. And now you can even imagine this white light traveling in a cyclical way. So from your sex center, up your spine, filling your heart, and then back down into your sex center. So creating this kind of cyclical energy that is really deepening the connection between your sex center and your heart space. And to complete the practice, you can bring one hand onto your heart, your other hand to cover your yoni, and thank her for whatever knowledge and wisdom she imparted upon you. Thank her for her honesty, for her openness. And thank yourself for being willing to do this practice. Feel the heart and yoni connection deepen. Feel the energy flowing more freely between them. And detach from any sort of judgment or expectation about what was revealed. And if nothing was revealed, that's also okay. Maybe she needs more time. And it's just being accepting of that. Taking a few more deep breaths. This practice can be done regularly. It's not something that you do just once and then forget about. The more that you practice this, the deeper the connection will form between you and your Yoni consciousness. And of course, different times in our lives will bring up different emotions and different wisdom and knowledge that she wants to impart upon you. So I really encourage you to practice this regularly, whenever you feel the calling. But this is a beautiful, beautiful practice to take on. And that is it for today. Thank you so much for taking the time to be with us on Divine Couples. If you would like more information and would like to check us out, you can visit us at www.divine-couples.com, and our social media page on Instagram is @divine.